Thank you. Thank you for having us join you today with this epic audience at the World Species Congress. I'm Christina. I run the Lost Species program at Rewild. The goal of the Lost Species program is to prevent extinctions by removing data deficiencies. 27,000 species are known to currently be at risk. There are another 21,000 species that are data deficient and therefore 50% more likely to face extinction. So what is a lost species? Well, the nomenclature for the lost species was developed by Barney Long and John Paul Rodriguez. The definition is a species that has not been confirmed alive by photographic, audio, or genetic information for over 10 years in the wild and has no ex situ population under human care. They also cannot have been declared extinct on the red list. So the list was developed by the IUCN SSC specialist groups. They've nominated species that fit that criteria. The program was launched in 2017. At the time, the list was 2,200 species. Since that time, it's grown to over 4,300 that don't have that documented evidence in the last 10 years. The list spans all taxa, all geographies, all ecosystems. We know at Rewild that we can't find all these species on our own. We also know that not all of them are in trouble. Not all are threatened. Some of them are just in very inaccessible places, or they just haven't been looked for. But we are prioritizing that list, and we've assigned a driver of loss. That driver could be anything from food chain disruption to disease, to acute pollution, catastrophic weather events, climate change, human-wildlife conflict, poaching, and habitat loss. Now, earlier this year, researcher Tom Evans, with members of my team here at Rewild and a larger team of scientists globally, published a paper that addresses the factors that influence rediscovery. These are things like location, life form, and range. The factors that we found to be the biggest influencers were species of large size, those on islands and tropical region, and those with very narrow ranges. We also know that the number of years lost is crucial. The longer they've not been seen, the less likely they are to be seen and remain extant. And we know that as the extinction crisis is growing, those numbers are escalating. From that list of 2,200 back in 2017, we curated a top 25 most wanted list, and that is our public-facing campaign. That list includes 10 mammals, 4 birds, 4 fishes, 2 amphibians, and 1 each of a coral, tree, arachnid, fungus, and reptile. 8 of those original 25 species were rediscovered. So in 2022, we went ahead and shuffled that list and added an additional 8 species, of which last year 4 additional species were rediscovered. So what do we consider proof of life? Let's go back 1 slide. Well, proof of life. We want documented evidence that these species remain extant. That can be a photograph, it can be video, it can be audio, or it can be DNA. We also are looking for genuine opportunities for restorative conservation action. Some of the impacts, both expected and unexpected, were that we've improved protections. Rediscovered species often act as flagships. They inform resource managers and can catalyze protections like protected areas, marine protected areas, and KBAs. We've also found that the Lost Species Program and rediscoveries catalyze funding. So it brings in monies that support the local communities where these species are found and helps them direct their resources to the species that they feel are most in need. The Lost Species Program has also launched careers of young taxonomists. The researcher who found the silverback chevrotain in Vietnam, he's now gone on to receive his PhD and is a world-renowned species, ungulate species scientist. The other thing is we receive data from the IUCN, but we also contribute data back to the IUCN. They nominate the species for the list, but then our expeditions and the data that we receive on those expeditions and collect, we feed back in for the red list assessors. So far to date, we have supported over 40 local researchers on expeditions globally. This year is turning out to be a very well-populated year. We have 15 expeditions that have either completed, are underway, or are moving forward later this year. One of the things that makes our program very strong is our partnership and our connecting of peoples. So we always reach out to a local researcher who is interested in the species that is lost. We engage Indigenous peoples, NGOs with other similar programming to ours, governments, local stakeholders that will drive that post-rediscovery action, universities and individuals. We have worked with a guy named Richard Thorns, who was a shopkeeper in the UK, who read about the pink-headed duck and decided that that is where he wanted to spend his time and resources. We're also supported by corporations like colossal and philanthropic organizations like JRS Biodiversity Foundation, who's funding our geographic work in Africa. We connect via conservation alliances and networks. For our amphibian group, we have the Amphibian Survival Alliance and the Atelopus Survival Initiative. What that allows us to do now is to move beyond that top 25 list and into taxa-specific searches. So we can prioritize joint efforts around specific taxonomic groups to leverage knowledge and resources. We have the Search for Lost Birds, which is a partnership with American Bird Conservancy, BirdLife International, and Cornell. We have the Search for Lost Fishes, which is a partnership between Rewild and Synchronicity Earth under the banner of shoal conservation. I mentioned lost amphibians, and now we're very excited. In July, we will be launching the Search for Lost Sharks. So consistently, we reach millions of people. And as I mentioned, it's part of the goal of Lost Species is to have a forward-facing campaign that shares these stories of hope. As people face climate fatigue and hear these dire stories, giving them a little bit of optimism will oftentimes incentivize people to stay engaged and to care about our environment. And the numbers have been staggering. People really resonate, the stories resonate with people. And so consistently rediscoveries reach over 1 billion people, stories up to 1,000 headlines globally. We would love to have you join us. So ways that you can join the search. If you're an expert, if you're a taxonomic expert, you can nominate a species for the list. We know that it is not yet comprehensive and that boots on the ground are often the best eyes and ears. So if you would like to email me with a species that you know of, if you would like to lead an expedition, we'd also like to create more of these regional and taxonomic coalitions. I've been contacted by firefly specialists and lichen specialists. We'd really like to see more invertebrates and trees. Finally, campaign on social media, share our stories. And then if you're able to provide advice, tools, or technologies, reach out to me. Thank you so much for allowing me to join you today. And again, I can be contacted. You can join or visit rewild.org. Thank you.